What is up YouTube, and welcome to this WandaVision video. We will be discussing how Pietro, played by Evan Peters, is now in the MCU. If you enjoyed the video, then please do drop a like down below and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video. Now, last episode, boy, did we have one heck of a cliffhanger as Evan Peters, as his Fox X-Men Quicksilver, exploded or just, well, knocked on the door and appeared. He appeared just like a common TV trope, an uncle appearing out of nowhere. Think Uncle Jesse from Full House and the many other sitcom uncles. Now, Full House was a show that not only featured Elizabeth Olsen's iconic sisters, but also straddled the 90s and the 80s. He appeared complete with audience cheers and a recast joke there. I think Deadpool would be jealous at this level of meta, but how the heck has he even appeared? Now, up until now, the Fox X-Men universe and even the pre-Tom Holland Spider-Man movies were clearly their own franchises, segmented off for really much the chagrin of all of us fans wanting a connected universe. I fondly remember sitting there watching X-Men and Spider-Man in the cinema opening day and thinking, boy, I wish this was like the Spider-Man cartoons and the X-Men cartoons where they merged together at points. Now, this was until Fox was merged with Disney and finally had the rest of the Marvel characters to play with. While many expected a recasting, which this joke alludes to, well, however, we're getting a similar situation, it seemed, to the Arrowverse Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, which brought in major legacy movies into one DCEU event. Even that Green Lantern movie, which is very, very despised. In Endgame, we actually got shown exactly how these other realities can be made. The Ancient One said that should someone go back in time, and in Bruce Banner's case take an Infinity Stone from the past, then a new reality is created. Considering that Wanda did not recognize him or seemingly force him into the universe out of her own volition, then it seems to make sense that an outside force has done this, or even Wanda did this unwillingly in her subconscious, probably getting a House of M situation here, where she's creating things which she really didn't mean to. Now, with the Ancient One's words in mind, it's evident that he has been plucked not only from time, but also a different reality. I personally believe that this was Wanda doing it unknowingly. As she said, parts of the Westview bubble, she has no idea how they were made or happened in the first place, which means we have a House of M situation where the fragile mind creates a world far beyond the one she initially wanted. As in the promos, we see her creating this world, but really, it's gone a bit too far here. Now, in the episode, she missed her brother heavily in the conversation with Vision at the end. Now, she also spoke to Monica earlier in a different episode, and she seemed triggered at the name Pietro. So it means that, well, he's been brought here by this legend, or indeed someone else, and it was a total accident. And with that in mind, I do think that she's given a promise of maybe bringing back more than just Vision. Considering Infinity Stones can be removed and cause changes in reality and time, well, this probably creates a multiverse, as we see him perhaps plucked out of time before the Westchester incident mentioned in Logan. Now, the Ancient One mentioned that to remove an Infinity Stone and you create a new reality, and this show was said to explore what happened when Wanda got her powers as something awoke within her, and 2, in the trailers we saw an explosion of the Mind Stone itself. More on that in a minute. This means, I think, that the Westview is becoming a convergence of realities. The rumours and leaks from a Redditor named Suki is mine 84 on the Marvel Studios Spoilers subreddit mentions how the villain appears to be Nightmare, a villain of the Dream Dimension, and it could be merged with Agnes, aka Agatha Harkness, but I think that we have someone manipulating Wanda via Agnes, so it's really Agatha Harkness, to create a pocket universe that just so happens is at the centre of a multiverse traffic junction, which explains why Quicksilver returned here so easily. This means that a conduit opened into a true comic version of the multiverse will lead to the multiverse of madness, and Nightmare came to Wanda, I'm thinking, in her sleep, informing her of just what S.W.O.R.D. were doing with Vision and what she needs to do, and planting all these ideas in her head to create the Westview bubble so he can take over our reality, which explains why Doctor Strange is getting involved in the multiverse of madness, because Nightmare is one of the earliest Doctor Strange villains. Now, what does this actually mean for the rest of the universe and mutants in our reality? Of course, I expect that Evan Peters won't stay here, he'll go back to his own reality. Now, radiation is a big thing too, as we know the bubble was emitting radiation at safe levels. However, Monica has experienced high levels of radiation inside the bubble, so much so her X-ray just showed white light or photons, but her mother has that name, so Spectrum might be a better one when she gets her powers due to the wide range of radiation she was talking to Darcy about. Now, while the MCU will be introduced to mutants via this, well, we could see an awakening as the X gene is being awoken by Wanda's radiation with a Mind Stone, like what happened to her and her brother. Now, what if she actually brought the Mind Stone from another universe, but we know in the comics that they don't really work that well if that happens, or she just fabricated one that's unstable, leading to a mega blast, much like the Terrigen bomb that happened in the comics, leading the whole mutants to become almost extinct, that is, due to Terrigen mists and things like that. But for mutants and awakening people to their X gene, this could be why Monica gets her powers, as this is then awoken. I don't mind her being retconned like this, and it might explain as well how we have Miss Marvel, but I'm not going to go into that. That's just a nugget of a theory that I haven't had time to explore fully, but I do like the idea of creating an Infinity Stone and blowing it up, awakening all of the mutants. Now let's move into a weirder territory, as we can even have the OG Fox X-Men and the Dark Phoenix cast, as at the end of Days of Future Past, time was changed due to the 70s journey and the Sentinels being stopped by Logan. He wakes up in a world where Jean Grey was alive, except, she died in one of the previous movies. But the whole of the X-Men universe carried on, and then in Deadpool we did have the younger class, which means that is how they went on with it. So we could even see the OGs come back as well, which I think would be really, really cool. Now, let me know what you think down in the comments on this. How do you think that Quicksilver has returned? Because this is just a theory, and I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments, because that's what I do. This is why I do this, to create a dialogue between all of us fans in this awesome, awesome MCU world. So, and if you enjoyed it, please do subscribe with notifications on, as we'll be back tomorrow with a Stan video, and Friday we'll be back with a WandaVision video, and Saturday as well. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.